Well, welcome everyone to Tech Tip Tuesday. Today we're going to cover Microsoft PowerPoint and all its glory. Hopefully you all use PowerPoint a little bit at least. If not, okay, we'll learn a couple little tips and tricks as we go here. Again, Tech Tip Tuesday about getting better together, creating a safe space. We'll do a review quickly and then open the floor to anything else that you might have questions about. We're going to go over some key concepts today. Things like slide master, designing, some Zoom stuff, some designer stuff, collaboration, exporting, recording, and then maybe I'll throw in a few hints throughout the way about tips that I use when I'm creating my presentations and things like that. Like not creating a list of things that you're going to cover is one of my tips. Don't do it, but I did it right here. So jumping through, let's go ahead. I'm going to open up a brand new PowerPoint slide. So PowerPoint, I'm just typing PowerPoint on another screen here, and it's going to open this lovely thing up. Talking about a new, you have some basic templates and themes here. I'd recommend you check those out. You have all of your other things here. You can also go ahead and star and pin things as well. But inside here, let's go to more themes. Go ahead and find some things out. Like here's an example of an architecture pitch deck that I looked at. Here's a tech presentation. If you wanted to search for like, let's see, change management. Let's see if anything comes up there. Nothing. Okay. But then you got things like infographics. These are kind of cool. If you wanted to do an infographic resume, a game board, you could look at these and then you just create them. There are a ton of different things in here that can just get you started, get you ideas. But for right now, we're just going to do a brand new blank presentation. So the first thing I want to do and show you guys is there is this new slide with Copilot. There's also this button right here. That's the Copilot. So if you're just looking and you're like, I have no idea what I'm talking about today, you can just click this and then you can create a new presentation or add a slide or ask Copilot. But let's just create a new presentation real quick. So our presentation is going to be tips and tricks on Microsoft PowerPoint in less than 20 minutes. Make it colorful and exciting. All you do is you hit enter there, and it's going to go ahead and start generating it and give you some breakdowns here, and it gives you 20 slides here. You can pick and you can add more things on it. You can delete sections. Like if I wanted to not go anything with multimedia, we can delete that and not talk about that. And then you just hit generate slides. And then here's like a generic version of all your slides and topics and things like that, how it will work. And it's still working. It's doing okay. It's taking a little while. And it will pop it out into this slide organizer view down here. So that's the slide sorter. And you'll see it's broken up into sections, things like that. And then you can just go ahead, keep it. And that's gives you some basic breakdown real quickly on how this is set up. And if you never wanted to give that presentation, didn't know what you're talking about, here's at least a place to start. So let's go ahead and put that into your regular slide view. And what I like to do thinking about this is we can get a couple things here. You'll notice that these sections, there's sections. So you can add a different section, remove section slide, add a section. We can come in between here and I can click here and hit new section and split, or new, that was new slide, add section and split those into two here, cancel, or I can remove section without removing that, hit delete. Some other little things here is you have all these other tools, like you can choose a different layout if it's a comparison to content, one content section header, and so forth. You can format your background. Say I didn't want to cover this, like I didn't want the agenda on there, I'll often keep it in my presentation and just hide it. So it's just going to skip that slide there, right? And then you duplicate. I like using duplicate versus copy and paste. I think it's a little faster. It also, sometimes you use copy and paste, it doesn't keep the formatting quite right and things like that. So those are some of the basic layout stuff. Let's go into kind of general navigation, some other things that you can do right here. Well, I'm going to go ahead and select design selections, design ideas right now, because we're kind of in that design mode. And you can see how there's different setups and it will give you different formats really quickly. So you can also hit see more ideas and it will kind of work it out and give you different layouts. You can also go here and see different layouts there with designer. I really like designer. It's here also in this designer tab, but you can see it as well and have it there. Next, we're going to talk about kind of navigating and setting this up and like how you can do some cool things with your navigation, right? So let's go ahead to insert. Bunch of different cool things here. You got your new Copilot slide that you can just type in slide about zooming. And it will generate that. So I'm just going to stop generating that. You can insert tables. You can do pictures. So like I like having stock images. So we can go here and go and let's say find a picture on buildings. So here's a cool building. Insert. It downloads it, adds it right to your image. If you click on your designer, it will give you two different layouts. So automatically makes it a lot nicer, a lot quicker to navigate there. Let's look at each one of these pictures though. When you select a picture, you have these different things that you can do right here. So remember you got format. Let's choose this one. I could remove background. I could do some color corrections. One that I always like to do is this set transparent color. So if I click on that, not a very good picture to do it, but we can have a transparent color there. You can change the way it looks here with some artist effects. I don't use those very often, honestly, or create some washout effects, basically. Compress it. You can do some things like that. Other things that you can do is aligns. So I often will align center, align middle, that we have to do, align right, align top, and then you can go ahead and crop these, right? So you can always bring in your crop and not. And remember, some of these are available right here. So I got my crop, I got my style stuff right there. So the quick crop, you just come in here, click out, and it's cropped. But we're going to Control Z that, make it back look pretty. Next thing I want to show you is back to this insert tab. We're going to do this cameo. So this cameo is kind of cool. You can put a little spot inside here and it's going to say this camera is being used. Let me see. Let's just do my Surface front camera so that we can have the preview there. And it will actually load up a preview. And when I hit present on this slide, well, I guess since I'm using my camera already, it's not going to do it, but it will have it right there available for you. So then another thing that we can do is we can come in and you got all your shapes, and I'm not going to cover shapes today, spend some time on those shapes, charts, icons, and things like that. I want to show you this zoom. So there's a zoom summary that you can put together. It's automatically selecting my sections and hit insert, and it's going to create this summary page for you. And you could even call this agenda or something like that. And go over here. Actually, I'm going to delete that page and it's going to go ahead and create that. So now let me go into PowerPoint mode. If I click on that, it's going to take me right to that section. And now I can start talking about that section. Oops. Need to pull back up that presentation. And then another thing that you have your zoom summary. Another cool thing you can do is you can do zoom section. And I can just select all the sections. So we're going to go this one, and this one, and this one, and this one. Insert. So you got these sections. You can drag these. This essentially works the same, but so go ahead and go back in PowerPoint mode. There I'm in on that section, going through it, and so forth. But it's zooming into that section, if that makes sense, versus just jumping to that section. That's the key difference there. It zooms into the section. Let me go ahead and delete all these and show you one last thing. So if you're not really big on sections, and I would recommend that you start getting and organizing your slide into sections, we can go ahead and insert zoom to slide. So then you can go ahead here and select any slide. So I could have a slide here, maybe this slide, and hit insert. We got 4 different slides. And pull this one up. And you can obviously change the size. You could even come in here, reduce it, make it larger. And now if I go into presentation mode, click there, I'm in on this slide. And then I'm right in that part of the presentation. So lots of cool things there. Let me go back to that real quick. If I go here, click on this, and then hit back again, I'm back at the overall agenda. So that, I don't know if you guys have seen much, what was it called? Not Trello, but anyway, it's a different way of kind of jumping around on presentations. This is actually lets you do that. So those are kind of cool. Let me go back here. We're going to just delete this page. So then let's go in and take a look at Design tab. Design tab, it comes with a lot of these themes. Like you can jump around really quickly, change how it looks, go through all the parts and pieces, and they have a bunch of out-of-the-box themes. So like if you really like this way this looks, like here, you can see that it's changing the entire presentation. So I would, as a company, suggest that you create at least one of those and think about what you're kind of setting up on. If you want to customize this, like here's a key thing, like go into this theme, variants. You can look at colors, you can look at fonts, you can look at all these other things. But if I hit my view, slide master, and slide master, I'll explain this a little bit more in just a second, but now I look at my themes right here. I can edit my colors for across the board. So I can come in here and customize colors, and I can use different accent colors, and I can use different, like make these the business colors that you use. So I actually have some here already. So I'm just going to go ahead and choose those custom colors. And you'll notice that now when I go to customize my colors, they're all already selected there. If I close this slide master, when I go and maybe select this text, we can change here. There are all these custom colors that are based on my exact settings, right? So here's the one color of blue that I like. Here's another color of blue, another green, and you can get basically themes per company. I can switch to the black variant, and I still have these color breakdowns of, oops, I guess I didn't change that theme, but you get the idea. If I go back to my view, slide master, and then go back to my colors, I can pick those colors again. Other things that you can do inside of slide master, like the key thing here is you're making updates and changes across every single slide at once. So if I'm moving the way this is lined up, that's going to make that change. And it's going to apply to all of these. And you can just drag and drop. I could even come in here and maybe paste a logo right there, put it on everything, come in here and maybe even change my background style to my other highlight so it looks a little bit better, and then close that slide master. And it should have, if I go to design, well, it updated everything across the board. I honestly, there we go. Oh, the background here, that's because of the way these slides work. But if I go to my background color, I can choose that other background and get it set up there and go ahead and change that background color. So that's really good. What you can then do here is once you have a theme that you like, you can go ahead and save that current theme, give it a name, hit save, and replace it. And then you can use that from slide to slide. I can browse for a theme as well if I wanted to bring it in and just share that same file and import it into other instances of PowerPoint. So that's a really helpful. So I'm going to talk a little bit about transitions between different slides. I will tell you to use transitions very sparingly. There are honestly only one transition that I ever use, which is the fade in between. So you can go ahead and make a fade in between the other one. I don't use any kind of morph. I don't use a push. Wipe is not bad, but they can get annoying. As you go from left to right, they get more annoying. So like if you do something like this is really distracting, but you can do a fly through, like there's a lot of different options here. So like generally focus on your presentation, not on the transitions. So can get a little bit of same way with animations. So if we have content, recommend just using like appear and fade. Sometimes you might use a wipe, but appear and fade are the two. You can always open up your animation pane here and go ahead and change when they come in and when they leave. So remember that. Some last few things here. So you have your real-time collaboration stuff. So that's under your review. So you can always add comments here and say, at Ralph, please fix this. Control enter to post or click right there. So that will put the comment right there. You can see it. When I click on that, and it's going to sit here under comments. You'll notice that you have this little new way to kind of open and close things on the right-hand side. That's actually a later enhancement, and you can just leave that there. You can go to the next comment, previous comment, so on and so forth. That's really helpful. Another thing you can do here, and I don't know why it's actually deactivated. Oh, because I haven't saved this. Sure. So you can show changes. So if I want to just change this to getting started, I can show changes and it's going to track those changes. I guess I honestly don't know how that one works. Okay. So that's kind of real-time collaboration. Remember, you can always hit share link, copy link, and share this right to the presentation, or share a link right to the presentation. Next, you have this record button. There's a couple things cool in this record button. Again, there's the cameo. You can put on all slides. So when I present, it's going to have it there. If I move it, it will move it back and forth, and I can be actually in the presentation. Under record, you can do a recording of video, like do a whole thing. You can do a screen capture. So if I go in and now I'm recording from the very beginning of this presentation, so it's creating a recording. Hit escape, it's going to put me out of that recording as well. You can record from the current slide. I actually don't think it's letting me do the recording. You can do a screen capture right inside of PowerPoint. You can do an audio recording and set up to autoplay. So when you switch slides, it will automatically switch slides when it's presented here. Another thing you can do is save as a show. This will let people just view the presentation. So you hit export, you save it as a show, it will create just a open up view as presentation mode, be right in the presenter mode. Or you can export as video, and it will basically take your presentation that you've recorded, and now you can export that video. Go through, export it out, and it'll create a quick video of it. Well, just exit that. Other things that you have is in your slideshow itself, there's rehearse with coach. That's really cool. So if you turn this on, it's going to give you feedback as you go. It will start giving you feedback, and you'll see feedback right here on your speech. What should I do better? Should I give more, be more exciting? Try to talk a bit slower. Yeah, that's probably important for me. So kind of coach you as you go, what's doing better, what's not doing right. So then we can hit escape. So that's a nice little coach. You have a little report here that tells you what you should do better. So I really like that. You also have rehearsed timings. It's really nice. So if you rehearse your timings, it will actually go through and you present, and it's recording how long you're actually presenting on a slide. Then you click to the next slide, you click to the next thing, and now it's going recordings for those slides and setting you up how long are you actually taking. And then you can actually set and save your timings for slides so that it changes for you, so that it automatically goes to the next slide. I don't necessarily like auto advance, but sometimes it's helpful. You can record again, they have the recording there. One thing I didn't talk about much is our notes. So right here, you'll see you have the notes section, and you can create here. And like if I were to update this presentation, I would basically change this out, put a lot of these notes down here, and maybe I just would say starting PowerPoint, choosing template, saving your work would be my 3 bullets to include on a slide. And then all this additional things down here, you'd actually include in somewhere else. But those are pretty much all the tips I have to cover. So just as a quick summary, make sure that you're using your different templates, your different formats. Make sure you get into inserting, looking at things like your Copilot, your Zoom, different styles for Zoom and transition. You have all your other screen recordings and audio recordings here. Under design, pick a template that works for you. Don't be afraid to update it under your view slide master and get your master set up and make a company level template. And then go in, use transition and animation sparingly, just the very basics. Know when you're working on your slideshow, use that presenter view too. I didn't mention that, but you can rehearse with coach. You can rehearse your timings. You can get better. This will help you become a better presenter. Review, have your track changes and things like that on. Record from beginning, export as a show, export as a video, try those things out. And then I didn't talk about presenter view very much, but let's go ahead and turn that on and we'll end with that. So in presenter view, great thing is you could have this on multiple monitors, and I can drag this over and you can see things like show your taskbar, turn that on and off. You can display, switch presentations, you can end it here. You have all your notes right here. I can maximize those, increase the size. You can come in here and you can jump to any slide that you want. You can mark it up with a pen and that will appear right there. You can also use like a laser pointer if you wanted to. And right here, this is really important. Turn on captions and just say whatever you want there to go in there. But yeah, this is really helpful, like especially at an end of presentation when you have a Q&A. Hey, Ralph, talk to me a little bit more about this other part and piece. Blank slide. If you just wanted, hey, let's get rid of the distractions, go in here. And then you got your zooming. You can zoom into a certain part and zoom out if you need to talk about it. But using that, really helpful, right? That's pretty much it for today. So thanks everyone for joining. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out and have a wonderful rest of your day and wonderful rest of your week.